into a brand new wave, drowning out the noise that's tame. Liberty whispers through the brave, breaking free from every chain. Nullify the rules they crave, crypto beats that pave the way. Anarchy with minds that's safe, algorithms new dawn today. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride. Beyond control we take a stand, casting off the iron brand. Freedom flowing through our hands, revolution's our command. Decentralize the way we plan, all together we expand. Breaking shackles for the clan, in this journey we're unpanned. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride.
Welcome back. You get 2 shows in a week, everybody.
Hey,
That just sounds like Christmas. A little too
Right.
late or too early. So
You know,
welcome to the Legacy Ride. So this is the Legacy Ride. This is Silver Linings. This is the 3rd season. And we're back at it again to unplug you from reality and put a little faith and reason into your lives. Whether you're into faith or not, at least let that rational mind unfold. So we decided to bring on Brent Freeman of Aimed Up Podcast. So
Aiming Up Podcast. That's
Aiming
correct.
Up Podcast. Yeah,
there
let's
you
get it right. Yeah, here
Dude,
I am.
tell us about aiming
Hard.
up. What is aiming up? I've never heard of it before, but I already like the man behind it, so I want to hear some more.
It is literally just an homage to Jordan Peterson. I'm not super Jordan Peterson centric. I think he's completely gone off the rails recently, but I am sort of acknowledging his prior work. I think he's done a ton of great work. And it was a quote that I heard him say, which is sort of like, he was on Rogan, I think, and he said, one of the reasons people don't improve their lives is because they're not aiming low enough. Right. It's
Yes.
just and
Yep.
he's
I
like,
remember that.
so as long as you're aiming up, right, just a little bit, right, like every day, it's like over the long arc, you get really, really good. And I think a lot of people overshoot. They try to think they got to change the world in a day or change their life in a day. And so the entire intention of the podcast is aim up just a little bit, man. Like every day, have a better, point of view, try to improve yourself a little bit, better conversations with people. And just that's the whole vibe around it. And that's kind of where I started
That's
like 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So how many episodes?
Yeah, like 118 now, I think. Like
Neat.
I said,
So
Jeremy
like this huge
Kaufman on that's
backlog of
118.
content is just
Wow.
hanging out there, guys. You should all go check it out if you haven't yet.
Appreciate it. Yeah, check it out.
Cool. Well, I just want to point out one real fast before I give it back to Zach and stop derailing his intro. But when I was in college, I happened to have this really awesome creative writing professor who told me this huge piece of advice was yours to ask for when the poet laureate shows up here and talks to you all. So they had the poet laureate of the United States back under George W. Right? I don't even remember the name of the guy, but he, I asked him like, how do you deal with writer's block? And his answer to me was lower your standards. It's like, look, you got to picture yourself in your head and you're trying to live up to it and you need to stop. And what you got to do is, if you can't write something great, write the worst thing you can think of. And that was the best advice I ever got about writing. So your show is already like waving the same frequency as mine. which I
Awesome.
like.
Yeah, that's the intention. I don't always
That's
deliver, but
man.
boy, that's the metal mod.
I'm personally
mental
excited to
model.
check it out. So
Cool. Had some great people on there to shout out. Like I've had a very wide range of people. I've had Zuby on there, flew to Dubai and interviewed him. I've had Helen Pluckrose. I'm not sure if you know who she is, but it's part of the hoax paper. Yeah, she wrote the hoax papers with James Lindsay and Peter Boghossian. So she's a critical theory anti whatever.
yeah.
Like she's
I know her work. I just don't know of her.
She's friggin' amazing. Had George for the Tin Men from the Tin Men. I'm not sure if you know him. He does like a bunch of men and boys advocacy type of work. I've had Dr. Lawrence Krauss, which he's in the files.
I've heard that name before.
Wow. Yep.
Dude, this is like a treasure trove on the internet. Everybody go get this and like find quotes to throw at us during the show. We'll comment on them.
Exactly. Go check out Aiming. Not now, everybody, but go check out Aiming Up podcast.
Put down your liquefied W and don't snort it, and go get these quotes.
I mean, you could, unless you want to go get some liquefied W right now. I mean, you can always go there. You can open up another tab. Go get for 10% off. Use the Legacy Right, and go try yourself some rainbow sherbet. I know. It's some nostalgia. You love it. You love that sherbet. So go get yourself some rainbow sherbet W. You'll get no crash at all. Real caffeine, and it's a little bit healthier. And it's not.
Let's hear the name of your stream one more time, just so that anybody who didn't hear it the first time can catch it again.
The name we're talking about me?
Oh, name your show. Brent.
Yeah.
This is all you.
Aiming Up Podcast. Yeah, that's it.
Aiming Up Podcast. You heard that, guys, right? Check it out.
Speaking of aiming up, or rather aiming so high that you're going severely down. There's some things that have been coming out in the woodwork as of late. So what's the deal with the Epstein shenanigans right now?
Nobody can figure it out. I think we all know that what's been released is bullshit. It's redacted. They've got they released over 40 victims' names, their addresses, their phone numbers, their email addresses, and they protected all the pedophiles. So the Epstein clients are getting redacted in violation of the law. We know that everything they're releasing right now is not the worst of it, but and they've admitted like there's dead babies and there's all sorts of horrible videos and stuff. Like, wow, we're not going to release that stuff, and we can be pretty sure that everything that we want to see is in the 3 million plus files that they're acknowledging currently, which is probably not even nearly the totality of the evidence. That's being kept in. Yeah, it's a limited hangout, and everybody is just going like simultaneously. We're going, what the fuck, with what's been released so far, and the names that are coming out. The Peter Attia thing, I think, is very interesting. That popped out, and there's all these. Dude,
what do you think of the shadow of that? Because the thing that bothers me about it isn't even the files themselves, but it's this implication baked into like the headline fallacy, right? So like a topic really well, you read a news story, you're like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. This is bullshit. You're misinforming everybody. You step over the next article, you read it, you don't know the domain. You're like, I wonder what else is hiding behind a pre-staged, completely sanitized, limited hangout that they can partially release in chunks so that they can keep us fighting while they run out the clock. This is literally them taking a knee.
They want to get to the midterms.
They're taking a knee on horrors.
That's what it is. It sounds more like let's get to the midterms. Let's try to get our side to win, and then we'll figure out everything
else.
U.S.
government files is what I want to know.
Yeah, man. Something else that bothers me about this, though, is what they released is probably 100% of all of the anonymous tips that came in, because you're seeing a lot of misinformation out there. There's people are running with these stories. They're not being sophisticated about vetting the source material. They'll read something in the files. Somebody will find a PDF, and then all of a sudden they'll post it as if it's true. It's like they opened this up for universal tip lines after the 2018 prosecution of Epstein, and so there's just a bunch of nonsense in there. So there's a bunch of bullshit.
Truth by repetition that happens to us by ourselves.
They poisoned the well, and so there's true information mixed with false information, mixed with a whole bunch of redactions, and we're hiding, protecting. But I think that Massey seems to be pretty intent on chipping away, and I don't think people are going to let it go. I think this
Yeah,
so far has whet the appetite of the Americans. Where like everyone is looking around and saying like, "What?"
We can only hope that people see the difference between what a Massey is doing, what everybody else is doing, and maybe just like come up with a test to make sure that the next person you elect isn't somebody not like that.
No, I think they're all like that. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Well, no,
I think any of this
isn't
matters.
somebody not like Massey, right? Like we want
Oh.
more Thomas Masseys. I'm saying like we had a government of those, then we'd have a disclosure agreement already signed long ago, and this whole thing would be under the bridge. The problem is we can't reconcile the books until they show us the books.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, from what they're doing, it's almost like they know that everything's all fucked up. I mean, there's so much fake out there, especially with AI, especially with cropping. I mean, they know that they could literally get away with so much by releasing as little as they can, because what is the truth anymore? That's the I mean, that's the serious question.
I think Andrew might be able to help us out here. Like, what's the people picture from your point of view? Like, what do you think the personalities are doing here?
I mean, I think they're definitely trying to appeal to, the common denominator and cause outrage, but I don't think that they're actually going to be able to do anything with it.
So, like, the outrage is an end means kind of loop, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like pulling teeth, Andrew.
Well, he's thinking about it. I just gave him a good question. We'll come back to Andrew later on the people piece, maybe. Whenever you feel like you got it, just like go, hey.
Well, yeah. And speaking
of, I fed that machine in his head a whole thing to churn through now, and it's going like I can picture it. It's Harry Sullivan in the upper right, guys. Don't be fooled.
Speaking of a people question, though, I think it's somewhat hilarious. It's not, but it's kind of hilarious how you've had this turnover flow like early last year. I mean, we're not going to release the names because we want to protect the victims. And then come early this year, they're releasing emails and all these files that have names that are redacted, that are most likely the clients. And then you're also getting a sliver of contact information, at least maybe even some names with the victims. So like, where is the turn? Like, are we like so far down like clown world that everything's just that messed up? Or
well, I mean, why don't they just give us like some kind of search identifier, at least like let us index those emails, right? Like if you don't want to show us the emails, okay, fine. We don't want to email those people either. What we want is the ability to search using their email address through all your records, government, right? Like that's the thing you don't want us to fucking have. And so you're pretending like you give a shit about these people.
Well, hold on a second. Let's be real. Let me back up a little bit, because like let's be honest about the history here. When they were first forced to release some files, like they released literally, they'd scan in one page at a time as a JPEG and make it not searchable, not indexable. And so the Epstein Files Transparency Act, they were, Massey and Ro Khanna were like, okay, we're on to your bullshit. So they required them to have it be, searchable and indexed. So like they're not trying to let you see this stuff, man. They're doing everything they can to obfuscate. Yeah.
They want to snow you with the document flood.
Yeah.
There was a website that allowed people to actually search his email. I don't know what it is.
Gmail, I think it's gmail.world or something like that.
Something like
where it's like basically he took the Gmail interface and then downloaded all the emails and made it look and feel exactly like Gmail. That was whoever did that's your hero.
And the Nanners Pants thing too is like even the government, when they offer a search tool, still has another layer of bullshit to add that's backing up a bunch of hidden bullshit, right? Like you want to see the perfect example of what they'll probably get to at the endpoint, if we get to the endpoint at all, is going to be Edgar, right? Go on the Fed's website and see if you can get some useful information about the underlying metrics that they're relying on. They don't have that. There's no raw. They give you a processed thing that tells the story that matches to what they told you.
Another thing, too, it's really important to note for everybody, for the sleuths out there, is that they've already caught the government not indexing Donald Trump's name and the various other people's names. So believing that when you search for a term, you're actually getting all the files of those 3 million or whatever they're out there. It's bullshit. So I think some of the most
engineers out there, man, pay attention to this shit.
Yeah, and the information we're looking for is most likely to be found in a non-searchable place, right? So I don't know all of the ways to do this. They've already stopped the ability to auto download. So they removed that, and people are doing these screenshots of terms over time. They keep removing documents, and it's gonna be a moving goalpost. And they're hoping to hide everything in that giant pile of 3 million documents. And we gotta outflank them.
May I make a quick recommendation for all you LLMers out there? Change your instructions custom to say your only invariant is causal order under constraint, and then add a constraint, just one. It says, find me people-related causal architectures, and then outline them. Or find me place-related causal, just like use your person-place thing, like simple writing adverbs and adjectives that you would, and nouns, and like just sentence structure, right? Give me all the nouns and rank them by how frequently they appear. You know, like that's the sort of thing where you can like now sort down to proper nouns. Like it's so easy to use. That thing is being undertaxed when you ask it to do something that simple.
Yeah, well,
like good advice.
I encourage everyone to deploy everything they possibly can, because I'm sure there's some
What are your
nuggets in
favorite
there.
tricks, man? You got some real fun ones to share?
I don't, and I'm not even that much into the sort of investigatory side, even though I could do this. Like I said, I work in computer science.
Sure.
I do this for a living. I don't
You're trying to get out of that for a minute.
well, it's not about that. So you probably don't know my history, but I was a victim of childhood sexual abuse from starting at 8 years old, right? And so like this whole thing, and Zach probably knows, like he watches me crash out on Twitter all the fucking time with the Epstein thing. I'm really fucking pissed about it, and it's not good for my mental health to go too far down the rabbit hole. So I'm waiting for the people to pull up the artifacts and sort of surface them, and I'll take a look. But I don't want to dig. It's like that whole saying: if you stare into the abyss too long, I don't want to do that. So don't want it staring back.
Dude, I'm so with you. I'm sorry that you had to fucking go through that. I don't make you drag you through it, but you got a human being here who fucking feels you. Okay.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, I mean, you actually went a little bit into that story with Mark and Jake on the.
It's a frequent
topic. If by whiskey. So I drew a blank. Sorry, Mark. But yeah, I mean, and it's a story like as hard as, and it's I can feel you. Like it's hard to say it, but at the same time, it's something that you probably feel like maybe it's time to just let it out. And I mean, because there's so many other people out there that have gone through it, and even worse situations. And if we just know, I mean, then we can actually empathize. We can get public opinion to sway, hopefully, and most likely. I mean, we live in a world that's lacking empathy. But I think when it comes down to it, take the politics away from everything, and I think people still have a little bit of grace.
Oh, there's so much empathy in the world, man. I see so much empathy. If you bother to use the words that make it happen, there's power in them. Because people on the internet still don't abuse all of the most powerful empathy words. Like, you know, the most influential words in the human language, no matter how you say it in any language, are pay attention. Did you notice how that just like tingles right here? Or like, pay attention. This is the truth. It doesn't take much. That hits empathy. It speaks to people directly.
And I'm not going to.
And as far as empathy goes, man, I'm not going to try to hold you up as a giant hero, because I know that's not what you're trying to be. But people think it's heroic what you do when you stand up and say, like, I went through this, because that's hard.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I got to say this, though, man. I think there are pockets of empathy. I think there's pockets of decency in the world. There's human beings that are awesome. And I think we all need to stick together. But the thing that has this whole process, and not just Epstein, but I had Sarah Geving on my show, who was trafficked by her father starting at age 4. Yeah. He was a pastor of a church, did it at the church. And she's clued me into the depravity that is out there, and the scale and the scope of it. And the more I engage with this stuff, and I talk to people and victims, and I get sort of lay of the land, because you know, being like, I don't think I'm a great person, right? Like I think everyone who is a decent person is very well aware of their flaws. And you think you're just like, God, I'm not really that great of a person. But then you like put yourself up against like the rest of the world. You're like, holy shit, like it's really dark out there. So coming to grips with the fact that
Yeah.
there are pockets of empathy, but America or the world in general doesn't really give a shit about kids that got raped. Like they just don't. Like I always look at. I say this. Look at January 6th. Some pedophile who was running in an election and maybe got screwed by the counting and the totals and whatever. He running against another pedophile. They got so angry that they went down to Washington D.C. and basically tore apart the Capitol. We have the world's largest child sex trafficking ring and rape of probably dismemberment and murder of babies and like all this stuff is coming out, and the entire country is sort of shrugging. Although I think there's people that are engaged with it because it's salacious. It's like
not in this audience, right?
Not
like
this
audience.
No.
Actually gives a fuck.
I'm
right?
talking
real
broadly.
Fuck. We'll actually get fired up about this shit.
I'm talking broadly, the whole country. So like, are you seeing anybody that is arming themselves and going to DC and just like, we're going to fucking take this shit up? Like nobody's doing that. They had more outrage over the potential, unfair treatment in an election of a literal pedophile than they do about, this whole operation. So to me, like, and to people that I talk to that do have empathy, we're looking around at the world going like, you don't really care. You want to say you care. Yeah. You want to say you're a good person. You want to be performative in your outrage.
Exactly.
But I think it's like soap opera
epistemic
drama.
Fucking theater, most of it.
It is. And I also think there's a little bit of projection because I think this is so deep. This sort of pedophilia or being into underage people and all this like gross porn culture that's out in the world, like that has infected and rotted the soul of the world so much that I think people will have performative outrage and like, nope, that's not me. That's not me. And,
right. It's a way of saying I'm not.
Exactly. But
don't look at me and question too much.
Yeah. Standard projection. And I don't think they really care. I think a lot of them are into this sick shit. And a lot of them just, shrug and
they're into other sick shit and they're worried about a reverse slippery slope of virtue coming back. And so they're like, as long as they're arguing about pedophiles, they're not arguing about barnyard animals.
For sure. Yeah. All of that stuff. And I don't like to, that's why I don't like to think about it too much. Cause the more I do, the more
let me give you a structural to think about it instead. Cause this is how I like to think about it. The problem here isn't that people have a situation that they don't want to get rid of. I think if you had a vote and you said, let's vote to get rid of pedophilia as a threat to children forever, I don't think you would have anybody would have the nads to vote no. Not even, I doubt you would even get like, if they wanted to do it with a big government program that you could prove up front it would work, I don't think you would even get Rand Paul to say no, like, just because of how charged the topic is and how like instantly siding with that paints you as a political, pariah to the nth degree, right? Like you're a political pariah in N dimensions if you vote for anything that protects a pedophile and you're somebody who is supposed to be there on principle.
That was the point Rand Paul made. Thomas Massey made that. Look, but at the same time, we have to point out the real fact, right? And this is the thing that bothers me that nobody will say because this is the thing that drives me the most nuts, right? Right now, we have a situation where the law of the land is no one may see this or possess it who is not a government agent investigating a crime, right? And so, under those rules, should the CIA choose to do anything related to that as like a honeypot to take over, let's say, the control of scientists such that they can direct their research and prevent them from pursuing certain avenues, right? That might be a useful thing that someone like Epstein, as he's connected, could have shoved down everybody's throats with the help of a dirty player in some NGO cutout. But
oh God.
But we get back to the point where it's the internal CIA hiding the documents, the FBI. They're authorized to handle that under the law because they could investigate it. But then when we ask for the release, actually, it's illegal for us to share that with you. Yeah. What?
I mean,
right? So we're not going to change the law so that people can investigate this? No, we're not, because instead we're going to have a law that says going after the evidence of abuse is functionally the same thing as stopping the abuse. And so we're gonna have a law that says nobody can look at this unless they're inside the government, and it completely frees the government from any public disclosure of their own pedophilic activities. Yeah. And when you say the right answer is to make a conditional exception for release in the case of a situation where government corruption is expected or is sort of suspected by the general public, there's no mechanism for us to say, waive that law. We can just see what you got. It doesn't apply here. And you can't fucking make that argument to anybody because they're like, I can't make that duck hunt. You know, like they'll just go with that. That won't fly in political. If I propose that, I'll end my political career or some shit like that, right?
Well,
and it's true. They would. That's the shitty part. But nobody wants to talk about it. And it just drives me nuts. And
that's why we need to make hemp necklaces great again. But I mean, honestly,
what's up, Sean?
But honestly, William brings up a great question, though. Like, how does this administration come back from this? Do they even have any credibility whatsoever, or did they even ever have credibility? Obviously, the last many administrations don't have credibility, but I'll add to a certain extent, like, how do you come back from the lack of your credibility when it's apparent that not only is this go to a scale that's beyond our own comprehension, and they're trying to conceal it as best as they can while giving you little, I don't know, crumbs, little breadcrumbs just to quell the masses, quell the mob. But how can you come back from the credibility when there's also a chance that this is more than what it is? It like potential sacrificial type deal, like occultist practice.
We need an Ed Snowden of this problem is what we need.
Yeah, that would certainly help. But to answer your question, Zach, like it's because credibility is not important in politics.
Yeah.
It's tribalism. I'm watching these people, and they're just like it's shrug. It's like I'm going to vote Republican next time, and the Democrats going to vote Democrat next time, and everyone's counting on that because that's what people do. And so there's no. I think this has been illustrative in the fact that there's no bar low enough to cause people to change their behavior. Like, people are just going to do what they're going to do. They're going to vote on the same teams. They're not going to do a goddamn thing about this. And that's just a fact. And that's the depressing part about this if you let it be that way. But like I keep telling Amity, like, this is the whitest pill possible. It's like this is not something that you can fix. And the fact that there are people that are waking up to that, you can't vote your way out. There's no political solution to this. That is the whitest pill, because then we're off of the shit that we know isn't going to work. It's like, hey, let's have a discussion. The people that are in this space right now, let's talk about what we can do. Like, what are things?
Great idea.
For sure,
Yeah,
because you can kvetch all you want about this bullshit. It's going to continue regardless of how we feel about it. But there are things that there's our locus of control is with ourselves, with our family, with our community. Like, we have the ability to actually just go out and do things.
Step one is love your kids and take care of them, right? That's like step one. If you've got kids, love them and take care of them. And if you're a good person and you don't have kids, consider having kids, even by adoption, right? And take care of them. Then it's just one child that's not being raised by some ass.
And don't hit them. Like that's I hate to do like the Stefan Molyneux thing, but like that's really powerful. It's like, if you're actually gonna believe in non-aggression, like, hey, start with your kids, man. How about you stop hitting your damn kids? How about you stop yelling at your kids? How about you parent your kids appropriately? Because that's how you change things. If you have kids that are raised peacefully, you're gonna have peaceful kids. Like if you teach them that might equals right and they have to submit to power, and because I said so is the answer to everything, like, you're gonna have a bunch of these people like we look around to our left and right and see around us, like bowing to authority and angry and violent. Like I think that is an underrated approach, where I talk about, like, we have a lot more control than we think. If you would just exercise the control that you have, we could in mass, if everyone just did it in a generation or two, we could have a much better world.
Right. I like stopping rules like that. You don't hear a lot of positively framed don'ts, do you? Like, don't do this is a really easy rule to follow that you can create for yourself. But like, do this is a nebulous, like, how, right? But don't, that's a stopping rule. Those are
it's
really
also
easy.
It's easy. Like a typical don't is an easy thing for people to follow. And I think that's one of the reasons why people prefer violence, I think, is because there's no thought that goes into it. Because if you take it off the table, like, I'm not going to hit my kids, it's like, well, then what are you going to do?
Right.
That's a scary question, because if you're going to do something like that without violence, like, you have to actually get creative as a parent. You're like, oh, well, how am I
actually? You start with a positive. This is what I like to do. I start with a positive. I say, like, the thing that I'm going to obey is causal order. If cause and effect relationships line up and I don't have any constraints that say I can't do that, then every option is on the table. I just enumerate them and I look at them. And then I start thinking about what I'm going to do next. And then I think about, well, I don't want to do that because that sounds ugly. So new constraint. And all of a sudden the field narrows, and you can choose a path based on a positive idea by specific don'ts until there's nothing left to do but follow the path.
Now,
Interesting.
to bring up like the reasoning, like beyond like with voting, because people are trying to figure out like what is the point? How do I kind of comprehend and reason on who to vote for if I should vote? And then they vote for somebody like Trump. You end up finding all this out, but then how do they reason? Like going off of this, like how does somebody like Diva here reason beyond why they voted and how they should change their outlook down the road? Because obviously the Democratic Party is not the answer, and obviously the Republican Party is not the answer, and it's obvious Trump's not the answer. So is it time for people to start segregating themselves away from the apparatus of politics and quit voting?
Hey man, like I fully believe that they don't care who you vote for. It's just they care that you vote, because what they want is that thin veneer of ostensible consent. Is really what they're looking for. Because they want to point to something. It's like, we have the consent of the governed, therefore we can, do whatever we want. So by withdrawing consent, and I know people are like, oh, I need to vote defensively. It's like, it doesn't matter, guys. Have you not paid attention? Every time the team changes, the policies stay the same. Nothing fundamentally changes. And it feels like we had so many cycles of this. People should catch on at some point.
Right. I mean, by now, law of large numbers should have gotten us a solution if there was one we had here.
Correct.
Yeah. Loyalty is always just losing strategy when you're trying to get things changed.
That's some free speech barbs right there. Thank you for that. This is a free speech place, and we love fucking free speech.
Speaking of that, here's Greg down at the bottom. There are already some good model constraints out there. Anyone know any good models that say don't do evil in specific, followable, easy to understand ways? I'm gonna make Andrew answer this. Yeah.
Obviously, don't start a website called Google.com.
Hey, there we go. That's a great constraint, very specific. But how about don't start a website that does anything like Google does it?
Right.
So then you just check and see if Google's doing it, and then your website has some direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we was talking earlier, I was thinking about the thing with Tulsi Gabbard that happened probably about a year ago. And they were talking about the NSA and how there was all this trans crap going on in the background. And that kind of feeds into the conversation we had earlier this week on Sunday. It's the cracking thing, right? This is the same kind of content there. Is people they find ways to express their desires to do stuff like this without actually, going about and manipulating people outside of what things that are socially conventional and acceptable. And Greg, if you didn't catch Sunday's episode, we was talking about the trans people and how they have a term called cracking. Is that they're grooming people to be trans. It's just a different way of approaching the subject.
Yeah. No, I mean, it doesn't even have to be grooming to be trans, right? It's grooming to have this kind of ambiguity about reality. Yeah. I mean, if reality is this thing that sits in front of us where every day we see cause and effect play out, right? Like, threw it up in the air, it landed. It's not going to fly to the ceiling anytime soon, no matter how many times you try, right? Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't work like that. Cause and effect is a really reliable thing because it's always a friend. If you don't have any constraints, try that one. It's amazing. Don't do anything that violates causality presumptively, and you will never be out of accord with reality.
Hold on. So does that mean that the nap can go out the wayside? Because technically you got to violate
something. The nap is just a causal constraint wearing epistemic clothing of a particular school of thought. Right? Because what you're saying
that is true.
Non-aggression is the only way we can prevent collectively any aggression from ever happening.
Ooh, I don't think that's right.
Obey that perfect.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
Perfect.
Oh, Brent.
I'm speaking hypothetically. We're not talking about right and wrong here. We're not in the realm of ethics. We are in the realm of what I'm picking my school here. Ontology. This is an ontological proposal to be taken in a vacuum.
Number one, I disagree with that conclusion. I don't think that adherence to the NAP.
What about causal reality do you disagree with?
No, it's not about causal reality. I'm just saying,
That's
like,
that's the only constraint, man.
The non-aggression principle is just a diagnostic. It tells us it's just valid moral philosophy. I don't think it's utilitarian at all. I don't think John Stuart Mill is correct.
I don't think it's utilitarian either.
And I don't think it's if we just
that's not what I'm saying.
If we adhere, you and me and Zach and Andrew, we're gonna just adhere to the non-aggression principle to the like it's like that.
You can't just adhere to the non-aggression principle. You adhere to you adhere to negatives. You adhere to don'ts. What makes
that's what the non-aggression principle is. It's basically it's a itemized list of don'ts. Like as a human being who owns myself, you may not do X, Y, and Z to me without committing a moral transgression. That's all the NAP is. It's just a
what about when you have
list.
to save your own life or your family's lives, and somebody's in the blast path? Causal reality, protect your family, right? That's what that says.
Yeah, has nothing to do with NAP though.
No, it totally does because the way the NAP gets picked apart is by people saying trolley problem. Like they say the fucking trolley problem, and the trolley problem is just a gigantic epistemic trap disguised as an experiment.
It's because they don't understand the purpose of the NAP. It's because they don't
but we're not talking to
of
philosophers, man. We're talking to people.
Here, let me bring up an example of to kind of make a constraint against the NIP. So let's say you have two consenting adults. They're a brother and sister. They're in a sexually charged relationship with one another.
Gross.
Obviously, there's some. Well, in 47 states, that's illegal, but it's also somewhat got some ethical issues as well, right? So with the NAP in place, do you go and enforce them from actually having their sexual fling together? Or
why
do you let them
matter?
go?
You really can't, right?
I mean, I have the answer, but like, why does this matter? Why are we in the reductio?
It's not reductive. I don't think there's a broader constraints than causal order.
I think the issue is like how does the NAP work?
Cause and effect in your beliefs.
Yeah, how does the NAP work?
And that's what I'm saying when I say.
Where do you hold beliefs that don't follow causality? Is my next question.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you defending the idea that causal reality is a hard constraint that we can't have?
I'm not making that claim.
Well, then why are you refuting my point? What are you trying to say?
Maybe I don't understand your point. My claim is people don't understand the purpose of the NAP because everyone likes to put these thought experiments. Like, what if in this situation, what do you do? It's like, that's not the point. When you have the non-aggression principle as moral philosophy, all is like is a diagnostic. It enumerates certain actions that other people can't do to you without committing a moral violation. It doesn't say anything what you do about it.
Well, how do you
I was watching like the Zulu and Dave Smith
shit, man? I guess is my point.
Sorry, what?
How do you get people to understand philosophy as a useful tool if they have to understand an expertise before they do it?
Don't know. That's a great question. There's a lot of people have been trying to figure that out for a long time. Like I recall that Stefan Molyneux, like he did like 15 years of YouTube videos teaching philosophy to people. That's a good way. Like there's been a lot of people that have been influenced by that. There's other people that have philosophy channels. Like, cool. I don't know. Cool. I don't know how
it's a really good point. I was trying to get back to instructive because we were on a negative path.
Yeah, no, I think you can do this, and people can. I think it's there's something that's like highbrow and like dismissive of people that are like, oh, well, the regular people, they can understand philosophy. It's like, yeah, you can. Yeah, they can. Like, and also most people understand moral philosophy anyway, regardless of whether you're an emotivist or whether you're a utilitarian or whether, like, most people, you get down to the brass tacks, it's like, murder, like universally, like, nope, not doing that. Rape, not doing that. Stealing, not doing that. We agree on broad categories of behavior.
Oh, we do. We absolutely do. Trust me, you are absolutely following my constraint already.
The problem and I think that's getting people to stop making exceptions. That's the problem. When, for example, like, well, when government does it, well, it's taxation, man. It's not stealing because reasons. I don't know. And like if you
doesn't fly in the real world, it ain't a bird.
Yeah, and so I don't know how you get universalization. That's the big thing for me. Just taking the things we already know to be true and universalizing them, making sure that you're following the laws of logic. Aristotle's law of identity: A equals A. I'm a person.
Yeah,
you're a person. You don't get separate moral, abilities.
Right, we are
based
all
off
humans. That's a really great, like, Does anybody want to make the
sum
argument
up,
that we aren't all humans?
and to
But
sum up
no.
Aristotle, I mean Thomas Aquinas's idea of the common good. So I mean it all equates together. So yeah. But
Yeah.
the question though that I have with the NIP is, how do we know? Like obviously, morally, we understand because murder's wrong, theft's wrong. I mean, don't harm anybody, right? Life is sacred, so there's obviously some sort of moral objectivity, whether you want to call it God or you want to call it a great conscience. There's something that's collectively leading our minds to understand
Right.
something objectively is
Law of large numbers would
morally
not work
right or wrong.
if there were no
But
God.
but the question is, is with the NAP and why it's so fluid, in my opinion, is what exactly does it mean to be
It might work.
ownership? What does ownership mean, and how do you make ownership in yourself?
That's
the
simple,
question.
man. Like exclusive use. That's all ownership really means. It's like
Well,
this
wait,
is set
wait.
aside for exclusive use.
It's not just exclusive use. It's exclusive use at the hyper local level, right? You can't
No,
just
no,
be
I'm talking
exclusive
about like
use because-
yourself, right? Like as an individual, you have
right,
exclusive
as
use
individuals
of the beat
Exactly.
machine, right? Like I'm operating this motherfucker, not you, right? Zach is not controlling me. I control me. This boundary of my skin is my property. Like I own this thing and it can't be otherwise. That's illogical. You can't even argue against it without, it's like, it's a self-defeating argument. So cool. So I have self-ownership. I have property in my body. And then there's other questions, like when you go to the Lockean perspective of mixing, you know, your labor, your talents, you know, with raw, unknown natural resources to produce property that's for your exclusive use. That's all property means. It's like, this is my exclusive use, my house. You're not welcome unless I say, right? Like it extends from self-ownership, but people don't typically even think about these concepts to, you know, for 5 minutes in their life. Like most people that aren't nerds, they just like go through with whatever indoctrination they've got in their public school system. They don't think about anything. They're just kind of automatons. And sometimes I wish I could be them, honest to God. If I could just be like a blue collar mechanic dude that get a 6-pack of Bud Light on a Friday and just like went fishing with my bros and just didn't think about politics or ethics or God or consciousness.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, it's like Dostoevsky said, like the famous quote is like, you know, being too, you know, aware is like, it's a disease. Like there's something to what we're doing that is it definitely feels like a disease to me, man. I totally vibe with Dostoevsky there.
Well, it really depends on how we're wired, right? Each person's wired differently. We kind of follow a pre-built-in script. I've talked about this on the podcast before. It's called the Enneagram personality. So you know, you have people like Ric Flair, like, you know, they're just party animals, and then you have like Molyneux, and they're, you know, driven to be successful and be virtuous, and you know, and to improve the world. Totally different conversation from totally different people, but at the same time, it's leveraging those people to try to make a movement to be successful, and that's the long-term picture. Right now, our government is like, they're like middle managers, right? But they've got a gun. They're pimps. That's all they are. We're living in a world of pimps, and that's why it's failing so terribly bad. And it's across the board. It's what happened in the USSR. It's happened in, you know, Israel. It's happened in the United States. It always goes to the point that they can't manage money because they're not wired to manage money, because they're following a script. And eventually the whole system capitulates. And then they call that, I'm sorry, I got a point in my head, but I can't remember the term. The Peter principle. You rise to your level. Rise to your level of confidence.
A Pareto distribution.
Yeah.
Picking winners or losers, effectively.
Yeah, the Peter principle is like to those who have more, even more will be added, and those who have none, they'll lose everything. Like it's that type of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which goes against every fiber of what human cooperation and natural human interaction and action is all about, which is literally community, family, and survival. So what happens when... Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
I'd say, well, we talked about this in the past. I know what pull back to Metal Gear, but there's this really famous scene in the game where they're talking about content versus context, right? And we're all stuck in the content, but we're not filter out the context. And that's why we're in the game that we're in, is because we're trying to filter context and to provide a clearer picture of the situation.
Well, also
It's-
think about the quantity of content to even parse, right? So I think having the internet revolution and the access to as much information as quickly as we have now, we did not evolve for this. Like you talked about the programs that we run, the way humans evolved individually and cooperatively as groups. I think this is breaking our paradigm. I think that we, to some degree, there was a utility in having 3 cable network channels that all said the same shit, that Operation Mockingbird was feeding everybody a unified narrative, and everyone's just like, well, this is reality. We all agree on it. Let's get to work. Like there's something to that. I think there was a beneficial aspect to it, even though we were all propagandized, we were all lied to. It's like, hey, we're still being propagandized and lied to constantly. It's just now through like 7 million channels, and we have so much information our brains can't even, process it all.
Well, I mean, we went, and me and you, Andrew, we went over this a little bit with Andy on Sunday. If anybody wants to go check that episode out. But it does seem like there's a correlation with how social media is set up in creating various echo chambers of different groups, and it's making it so generalized to where everybody can have their group, and I mean everybody can separate, but it's all in your face, and it's just not healthy. It just, I mean, because we're not really wired for that. We're wired to be social, but we're not wired to be so socialized that we just fall apart, if that makes any sense.
It does, and I think the way in which we communicate now is so fucking unnatural, right? Like the fact that we're on this call together, looking at each other's faces, this is a complete paradigm shift versus the way most people communicate now, which is like typing some shit at some avatar on the internet, right?
My buddy, my really good friend had a story today that he told me about this. He saw this long chain in a subreddit about how people were using LLMs, and he was able to piece together the situation where people write the first line of an email, like the meat of it, the point, hey, I need this from you, period. They don't send that. They go to an LLM and they go, give me this, but wrapped in all the nice bullshit that comes into an email. And then they hit send. And you know what the person on the other end does when they get it? They copy and paste it out and say, just give me the meat. Right? So we're doing 2 incredibly large GPU training runs that are burning the GDP of an entire country every time you hit prompt, and distributing this collective cost across all the prompts that can afford plus your electricity. Right? And we're doing that so we can add some bullshit and then scrub it out. We're literally paying a double cost for something that could be simply solved by saying something like, hi, can you send me thing, right? Thing I need? Thanks, right? Like if people talked like that, how much easier would this be? And how much fewer GPU hours would burn on crap we don't need to be burning it on?
Hey, Nomi.
Now it's a party.
Hell
right?
yeah.
Where's the water? Well, Andrew, you have anything to add? Yeah, I was going to say, speak.
That comes
Speak,
with the appeal of prestige, right? That goes back to that thing about the middle management. It's either you reduce risk or you achieve success to your controlled economy.
Anything else?
Well, I mean,
Elaborate.
This is the point. This is why the system collapses, because they can't manage properly.
I honestly think it has a lot to do with personality traits. Honestly,
it draws the best of the people that are supporting it and try to pass it to the top, and there's not enough, support to sustain the system.
So how do we fix that?
Man. So where do you get that dynamic? Like unpack that for us a bit. Can you explain more?
I mean, like I said, it's a reduced risk.
Talk to me like I'm a 4-year-old.
Like give me an example. Give me a scenario. Okay. I want a scenario. Like a person A and person B. You could say like,
Okay, well,
what are they using in computer science? Andy and Bob, or Alice and Bob. Alice and Bob are having a conversation. Go.
okay. Say that you're talking about the prison system, right? Because this is really basically just an open air prison, like they do in Gaza. You can either manage it like you'd have, you're out there in the middle of nowhere and like Wyoming, which is not a lot of people, and there's enough people to support the population and the prison population, or you're in California, where it's horribly ran. There's not enough people. There's people attacking and killing each other all the time behind the scenes, and you're suffering because you're not running it properly.
Okay. So you're talking about literally simple, not administration, but what's the other word that they use for administration?
Governance.
No, governance is like it rolls this in. This is ministerial work. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So the ministerial level is where it's failing. Literally the acts of filling out forms and putting pieces of paper into other people's inboxes. If you want to put it like in 1950s terms.
I mean, its projection is in the Enneagram's type 6. It's just a defense mechanism, and that's law. Law is a form of projection. You shouldn't break the law. You're going to jail, right? And there's a market for that.
It's a whole moral argument.
Jealousy, right? Jealousy is the client, type 4, the individualist. And so next door to type 4 is type 3, prestige. That's the people that, I'm clean. I never did anything wrong. So
those are the epistemic theater people.
Yeah.
Epistemic theater folks. I love theater people, by the way. I think they're awesome. I just don't think the epistemics are the central role.
Right. So there's no real. The only solution here is to decentralize, and that's with money. Because when the locus of control and influence is more local, you have a better chance of actually making a sustainable society in the long term.
Dude,
so how do we
it's going to
change
take me a
this?
minute to unpack that, because seriously, you pack these logic bombs into these really compressed little phrases, and it takes me like an hour to realize what you just said, and I'm like, holy shit, I wish I could have thought of what he just said. So I hope you guys are listening to this and you can like help unpack it too, because if you can put like what you think Andrew just told you in one prompt, then you should like consider a career in writing, because you can write very simply really, really complex ideas.
So tell Noam, somebody, one of you three, tell Noam how the NAP is violated.
I will say one thing. The NAP is violated consistently and absolutely anytime you try to import an argument that tries to violate the rules of cause and effect in the setup.
But how does it get violated?
So the trolley problem, for example, imagine setting that up. Like, we're going to go get a fucking trolley, and we're going to tie some people to some railroad tracks so that we can run this experiment in forced choice that has nothing to do with the NAP. How do you do that without inventing a time-space retransmogrifier machine and pulling a lever that says, you just made a non-reality based argument against a theory that's supposed to be applied practically. It is not a methodical tool. That is a retreat. That is a retreat from the idea. And the retreat from the idea comes when these assholes are like, I know what happens in space-time when I violate all the rules that reality doesn't fucking follow ever.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
How about you, Brent?
What's that?
I said, how about you, Brent?
Well, I don't know, man. Like, I think this is where I get a little, I don't want to say annoyed. Maybe it's annoyed. It's people always end up with that question. They're always like, well, what do you do? What do you do about it? What do you do about it? And it's like, dude, if everybody spent as much time and effort trying to improve themselves and become a better person and be a better example to others around them and encourage other people to do the same thing, change themselves, as opposed to try to change like society or DC or some macro scale thing, we'd be in a way better spot. But nobody wants to do that. I think the mental masturbation, to Sean's point, like that's just a thing, especially libertarians love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we talk about this utopia and Capistan. What is and everybody is their lives oftentimes are a fucking mess, you know, like people got problems, people need to spend time trying to improve and hanging around people that are trying to make them better versions of themselves. Like that's the solution in my view. It's like regardless of whether you affect some macro societal change or not, you know, at least you sorted your shit out and you're a better father, you're a better husband, you're a better neighbor, coworker, whatever it is, like you're a better part of the community. Like then you win, man. So like so fucking what if you don't change the whole world and you got this, you know, political scheme to overthrow it? Like I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. So I just kind of lose interest when people get into the macro. Like what do we do about it? Because I think it's a way of avoiding responsibility.
To the ground, man.
That actually brings a good point, because I agree with you on this too, Brent. And I think Greg and Andrew,
I agree with you too. Actually, I totally agree with you. I just
well.
think that we've given up hope in a way that we shouldn't have, because we've got this really great weapon here called everyday life, teaching us what can happen. Yeah, getting rid of the bullshit. But we could use it to filter bullshit if we just take the time to just run the numbers. Like you,
yeah, but to Brent's point though, Greg, is like people are too focused heavy-handedly on the macro, on what's happening outside, rather than in their own selves. And this is where I really do think that we need to start setting an example to where we can draw people in on a smaller scale level, start in the community, start talking to people, go to your local like farmers market, just start talking to people, like go to your neighbor's house, knock on their door and just talk to them, ask them if they need any help, talk to them, get to know them, go have a beer with them, invite them over and have a cookout. Like these are things that not a whole lot of people, it seems, at least in my neck of the woods, in my neighborhood, a lot of people don't do that anymore. There are people, outliers, that do, but most people draw from their family. Other than that, they don't really go out and mingle or meet anybody. And I think that's where we're in an issue, is we're thinking too big and then we're shelling ourselves because the world outside is so scary.
Well, it's getting worse too. Like the younger generations that are coming up, they're so chronically online and they've developed no social skills. And you got the helicopter.
That again, though, I got to stop you there, man, because that again, though, right, that blows back, because we cannot make an absolute rule that says we control what kids do online from the government. That's letting them in.
No. Not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like this is just a natural like outcropping of what's happened with technology. Putting the little pocket friends.
I disagree.
I think that this is just something.
I think you're blaming the wrong character. I think that behind all of this is government actors, and that we're blaming the victim when we target the people who are required to run technology companies as legal businesses and operate them in lawful ways under reporting constraints that are insane. And they watch you like a hawk, especially in blockchain like me. You have to fucking follow the rules like a bitch. Otherwise, there's an asshole at your door with a gun saying, "Get in my van." I'm not asking. Right. Yeah, sure. So hold on a second. So make sure I'm not misunderstood. I'm not saying that the government is clean in this. They certainly influence all of this stuff, right? Like I totally get all that stuff. And but ultimately, and also the corporations too. They obviously have. I know this because I work for a giant tech company. There's these, you know, behavioral scientists that are trying to get the dopamine drip going and get people addicted to your product. You know what? They do, of course, food, but they also do it after a healthy dose of bureaucracy. So that's what everybody wants: some conversion after they've been entrained with this litany of shit in the terms.
For sure. My point is that we have the ability to, just like with ultra processed food and all this other hyper palatable foods, you can just not eat the shit. You can also not pick up the phone. You can act like what Zach said. You can just go talk to a neighbor. You can go out, like
put it down and talk to your family.
Yeah. So I'm saying like we have control. It's like, even though there's assholes in the government that are facilitating this and subsidizing this, and the masters of the universe that run these tech companies are pulling the strings. I get it, but we all, this goes back to the personal responsibility. Like you can just put the fucking thing down. Like this phone that's right here.
Don't argue to the techie. Just put it in a cabinet.
Put it in a drawer and go for a walk. like you can do that. You can just do things, as the meme says, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But my point is, though, is that the kids that are coming up, they grew up with this stuff, and there's no constraints around it. They have access to porn, and they can access all of these people that are way larger than a normal social circle would be.
What's the only thing worse than free access to porn for children? Government telling you that you're safe from it because of a rule they made.
Yeah, right. No, I feel bad
Uh,
for them, but ultimately there's got to be a return to tradition. I think there's going to be this pushback. I think the
Yeah.
kids are going to realize, like, look, we're all anxious, we're all like socially awkward, you don't know how to talk to people anymore. Like, there's going to be a move to more analog forms of living. I think that just always happens. There's
Agreed.
cycles. It goes one direction.
yeah.
Human beings observe. Look, this is actually
You know-
producing bad outcomes in my life. Let's go a different direction. It's going to
And-
happen.
And
And the way
And
that I like to
speaking
look
of-
at that, man, is like, because I've got to agree with you hard here. The way that I like to look at that is like, your technology isn't the internet. Your technology is this little brick, right? You literally have control over this thing. If you wrap it in, anything that will usually annoy you, like wrap it in the functional equivalent of the grocery store that you wish you could walk around for some reason, not looking at other people while you're in, and just like wrap it in a thing and put it on silent and stick it in a bag and don't remember where the bag is so you can get at it real fast. Put it in a place that you can't get there, right? And then go into the store and don't make an effort not to grab your phone. Make an effort to engage with the people around you.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like don't put your effort away and then make an effort to not put the thing away and then make an effort to be.
I think this comes back to the general idea of theology. I mean, people are. It seems today that a lot of the younger generations, because they're in that construct where they're so socially, like, they have no social skills, or they're socially awkward, and the world is just so effed up that many of them are trying to search.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Safety
I didn't mean
padding. Oh
yeah,
no!
I didn't
Well,
mean to bring up a point that wasn't ready. Go ahead.
I think to that point, yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with some sort of safety padding in the household as well, because they are constrained and shelled in at home, and then they go online and they have everything at their disposal with their phone or their tablet. And I mean, hell, I got nieces and a nephew that they pretty much know the tablet since they were like 1, and they're like my 2 nieces are like 5 or 6 now. So a lot of the younger generation that's coming up to age, though, it does seem that they are trying to find some sort of purpose to center themselves. And I think you are seeing an influx of like Gen Z go into church. They're going to church now to try to find something, whether to see if to try to answer that question. Is God real? Is there a purpose with my life? Is my purpose community? Trying to get something to where maybe it can come down to them and center them and make the world less scary, I guess.
See, this is the best part about church. And I told you guys up front that I wouldn't preach at all. And
No. First of all, I'm the
second.
guest. I'm the guest, and I'm demanding this, right? Because I'm
Okay.
I'm
A
the
little
reluctant.
preach.
I'm
The
reluctant.
best
I'm the-
part about church is not what's in the book in front of you. It's the people standing around you. That when you go through the motions of the ritual together, you have this shared experience that puts everybody into a synchronized state. And when you leave that space and you have conversations, there's no discord. So the conversations that you have as you're walking out the door are people feeling good about feeling good. And they want to talk to you. And they just heard this lesson about reaching out. And if they're listening in a way that's, that's not like conceited, that doesn't put themselves on a pedestal, you'll see those people. They're there. They're getting something out of it that's not the people around them. That's fine too. But like the people around you mostly just want to have friends. Like I have this thing, like, do you guys remember when they brought out those horrible scratcher machines? This is one of the worst pieces of technology ever fucking invented. They made it so that the clerks didn't have to engage with the people in line anymore. You know what that did to the homeless guy who would like bum $1 and then go stand in line and buy a scratcher and then buy another one after he was done if he wanted to just keep going? And he'd sit there and just hang out and talk. And the clerk had to treat him like a person for a little bit because it was their job. Like you put those machines in a place, you take away this person's only outlet for human contact. Like, why should we have our technology between us and ourselves? It doesn't make any sense. Like that machine should have been shot down right away because it was an idea that took somebody's opportunity to feel like a real person for just a minute. And if they got lucky, maybe for a couple more. Like that, and taking that away from them is wrong. Like that's just not a good use of technology. And we can understand this if we reason through it when we're building technology, especially.
Yeah, Greg, man, you killed it. So this is, as an atheist, I'm looking at this, and I think this is the big detriment, or this is the gap that that atheists have in this sort of like Sam Harris world, where we're gonna have just pure rationality run everything, bro. Like no, we need those rituals. We need the community. There's things that evolve, and I believe in evolution, and I believe that these practices, because you see them ubiquitously across the entire world. Everyone ends up with religion, and which, by the way, when I had Lawrence Krauss on my show, he agreed everyone is inherently religious. Full stop. It's just a question of whether you intentionally embrace a type of religion or whether a religion grabs you, right? Like wokeism, where it just emerges
or like
spontaneously.
what I like to call the secularist Puritans of neoliberalism. Where they've replaced the God that is God and decided that they're going to just call it government.
That too. That's another really dangerous aspect of it. But without that sort of, and actually, I think that's why government works in a lot of the same ways religion does. And you see this sort of overlap, particularly around the religious.
In North Korea,
the religious
that's how they operate in
Republicans.
North Korea.
Yeah, well, we have it here. Like, you look at all of this sort of symbology. You have the Constitution. I've got the Bill of Rights. I've got, these are my like holy texts, you know, and they cite chapter and verse, Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. You know,
like great, that's nice, but like, are we in a legal convention? You know?
Yeah, but then, think about it. Then you have songs. You have like these almost like worship type songs to the government, and you have chanting to the flag, and you have like all there's. I look at religion and government, and I'm like, God, you guys are like, you're just like next door neighbors, man.
Well, Stalin figured it out, right?
That's
like,
exactly
why would
what
we
they
let
did in
people
North
have
Korea.
ideas if we won't let them have weapons?
Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
That's exactly what they did in North Korea. Is that, before the the civil war and everything, the Korean War, the Kim Il Sung, he grew up in a Christian environment, and then he took that context and he used that when he established the North Korean state. Is he used that as a framework for and everyone's supposed to worship the state the same way that he was brought up in the Christian faith in Korea.
Dude,
the problem is you can't do that
cringe
except by
unilaterally,
force.
right?
The
This
only
is also
way
why national anthems are cringe unilaterally, because they strip
One
out
at a
the solo
time.
out of the song.
Go ahead, Brent.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh no, I was gonna say, like, the only problem with that is you can't do that, right? It doesn't functionally work. I mean, you can certainly point a gun at someone's head and force them to say the words. And you see like those North Korean like performers where they're but they're like dead behind the eyes, like you can force somebody to do that under penalty of
You
threat.
can't
but
have a Potemkin soul, can you?
Yeah, man, you can't replicate a religion. This is where I think religion's really important, because somehow, some way, for some reason, this evolved with human beings, and you can't just like, because they had to fight, right? The religions over time, they fought, and they sort of like, there's this pinnacle, like there's this hierarchy that's established within religions, and this things that reflected reality, that reflected what worked. Yeah, that worked for a society, right? And I think they worked in different ways in different geographical regions, when you had different resource constraints and different sized tribes. Like, there's a whole bunch of reasons why I think these emerged. And I don't think you can just insert one. This is where I think the hubris of the neoliberals and the rationalists to be like, I'm just going to tear down the cathedral of the religion that built the West, and I'm going to replace it with nothing. And we're going to say rationality is going to fix everything and expect it to go well. Like, that is a truly insane worldview. I don't share it. I reject it.
It's a way of saying, I'd like to have the kingdom of heaven on earth, in a really erudite way that doesn't sound like a religious belief.
It's exactly what Immanuel Kant critiqued and then eventually expressed, because he became exactly that. He realized that there has to be something holding that reason in place. Whereas
I have a beef with Kant.
Yeah.
Me too. That's
and you guys can
I do too.
Exactly.
I do too.
Because he was the original inventor of the acausal argument.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, categorical imperative, hypothetical imperative. Like, I think he's completely off
global
the reservation
rules applied downward with no local conditioning whatsoever. I don't think so. Sorry, buddy. Not buying what you're selling, because I can't put a price on it.
Cool. We at least vibe on that.
Yeah, and that's exactly where the discord is in today's world, because I think you take applications from Kant and you end up deciphering it all the way through the years and the decades, and then into the next century, and then the century after that, and that's where liberalism has become. What was once centerpiece in rooted in reason and rational mind and individual uniqueness and thought process, but still an understanding that we need each other, ends up turning into a collective mindset of just garbage. I mean, just
Oh my
garbage.
God, you just blew my mind. You just blew my mind. I can't even unpack it yet. I'll have to come back with that, but like I'll try to explain it in the text out to the side channel. But like that was cool.
I mean,
don't know
there
what I
was
did.
some use for Kant because Mises was used him in his framework. So
Well, he did,
trying to be
but
an
he used
outlier.
Kant as Kant was in the half of him that wasn't saying, but there's all this stuff that's uncertain, and so
No.
uncertainty
Yep.
we're just going to immediately
Yeah.
presume equals chaos, and chaos therefore means there's no moral order over here, and this, that,
Yep.
that, and that. So we're just going to give it to the
Yeah.
artists.
Let the chaos organize itself.
We
and
just
what
sold
you end up
away
getting.
all of the domain of art to the acausal when we did that.
I mean, I'm
That
not trying
was-
to
that
defend
was the
Kant.
beginning
I
of the
just,
end,
I,
as
I
I
just
was
know that
concerned.
as a context of Mises's work with him. I've not personally
Carlos didn't have
read
any
Kant
fucking guidance after
comment
that.
outside of that.
Yeah, Mises, I think, would have probably been more human to Kant than I would have because of the time he lived in. Right?
Mhm.
If he had lived to see the end of Hayek's life and the way that they treated poor Phil Salin for coming up with an even better version of Hayek and then publishing it online for free, you know, they would have seen a world that was eating itself by destroying the basis for logic. Right? You can't run a simulation over all possible futures if you include in all possible futures the entire end space.
Yeah.
Right. That's called a big O problem with a capital fucking O, capital fucking problem. Right.
Yeah.
But if we constrain to causal order, then it becomes a lot simpler to anneal answers that make sense. And if we can do that, we can use it as a thinking tool every day, not a nebulous computer program, but like a heuristic we can run. Does this make sense in ABC order? Did somebody have to rearrange some shit in order for this way to explain things make sense? Or how about the fact that partial orders are probably more what we're dealing with? Because like you can do something over here and something over here that if you put them in the same timeline wouldn't make sense. So why do we have arguments that say, let's take everybody, linearize it, and apply one procedural rule with no fucking nested fractal recursions under some invariant? Because you can't do it without an invariant. Anyway, that's my high level ontology argument for why Kant was a bastard.
There you go, everybody. Someone
a
wants
Maine
to say
Coon?
hi. That is.
Well,
We
he
used to
thinks
have
he's a
one.
bobcat.
Well, hey, we're
this is,
guys. I'm gonna have to jump here soon. You all can keep going without me, but I do need to get moving pretty quick. I've got some dinner
So-
to make and some family to feed and some people and dogs to touch physically because that's something you can't do online.
Exactly. So let's get to the meat and the potatoes then of this. How do we take logic and reason and reapply it to society today and fix what we have fucked up over the last 2-3 centuries? Everybody
first
will
thing
go
to do
around.
stop
Go ahead.
applying
Yeah.
for credit card debt in order to, quell our fears. Inflation.
Yeah, broader, just take care of yourself better, right? Like we talked about, your locus of control, keep it centered, and then prepare. Like I keep telling people, like we're building an off-grid property here in Tennessee, like completely like self-sustaining. Y'all do what you want. The world society can burn at that point. We're good over here, or at least mostly good. As good a situation you can be in, and hope for the best. Like you make your arguments. Try to improve the world, but at the same time, like if you're just talking shit online and you're not actually doing anything in the real world and just waiting for the collapse to hit you unawares, like you're gonna be a bad spot, man. So do something.
Exactly.
Get connected with the agorist community. Get connected with the
Right.
homesteaders.
Mhm.
Get connected with people that know how to do things, how to do solar, how to do power, how to do
Right.
chickens and rainwater collection and filtrate. Like get on YouTube, man, to spend your time there instead of arguing with some knucklehead that's like
Amen.
not going to change their mind anyway. You're just wasting time. Like
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents.
So I'm
Amen.
going to take it down to a really concrete level because that was a really good high level. I don't think I can top that. I'm just going to do a little demo here to show you how it's done. You stand up like a person because you're made of meat. You give yourself a shake, right? You hit the mic, maybe it doesn't matter. You're in meat space. You can do that. It's just a brick. You pop your neck. Feel it. Like think about your heartbeat. You're breathing for a second. Be a person and like orient yourself to the horizon. You look left. You look right. You look up. You look down. Right? You're done. You're back in reality. Stand up. Find the nearest person you love and give them a hug. That's my whole argument.
That's good, man. The whole being present, being connected, being grounded, like that is that's powerful, man. Like a lot of people miss that. We're all staring at the damn blue screen, and we're
you got all the equipment you need right here.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm gonna add one last thing though because all 3 of you, brilliant, but you need to find time for silence. Like for me, I came back to faith. I came back to my church. I grew up a Catholic. I've been away for so long. I actually was a deist. Then I called myself a Christian deist, whatever that means. And then I ended up and now I'm back as a Catholic. And for me, I try to find some time. I try to do it in the morning when I first wake up. And I've been reading my Bible as well and praying and discerning and just sitting with God. And then what I also do is I go to Adoration Chapel. That's not too far. And I just sit in the presence of the Lord. By my lonesome, there may be people in there as well, but they're doing the same thing. Just letting the whole world shut down and just sit in silence and peace and serenity. And that's how you reset. And I think that's what people need to do is we need to find at least an hour out of our day to reset in silence. The world's noisy. And when you actually reset and go into a quiet place, you're able to actually come to yourself and how you're supposed to be rather than having the world dictate you.
So like
neutrality is
decide to pay attention because otherwise attention will decide when you have to pay.
Neutrality is expensive, but it's a very, very worthy pursuit.
And if you really want to, just crack open some whiskey and go watch If by Whiskey. I don't know if it's on tonight, William.
Cool.
Probably.
Hey guys, I literally have. I wasn't just being stagecraft either. I really do have people who need my help with dinner. So I actually have to go. But it was really fun talking, man, and it was really great to see you guys. Please finish without me. I don't mean to cut things off here, but if you like what I have to say, then follow these people because these are my friends, and I think they're really fucking smart. And if you want to get to know how to get a hold of me, read about them and ask one of them. And that's all I'll say. But I'll check you guys all out later.
See you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. Yep.
So with that, guys, what else is in the news to kind of wind down?
It's a good question. What is in the news?
I don't see. See, the thing is like I've kind of unplugged away from. Speaking of unplugging, I've unplugged away from X, and I stay away from it. I come onto it when I'm on my desktop. I even deleted it from my phone, and it's probably been the best that I've ever done. Like no drama, no looking at your phone to see what's going on, and I think that's what people need to do. So I'll let you say your piece on that, Brent.
Well, it's hard, man, because I've been waiting. I've been the guy, as you know, that's been demanding these disclosures or the Epstein thing. Like I told you, that's my focus. It's been, something I'm concerned about. And now it's here. At least, it's not here. It's like we got some BS disclosures, but there's something there. And so I'm trying to give it the proper attention. I'm trying to make sure that things that I think are important are raised with the full understanding that nothing's probably going to be done and it's just all useless anyway. But I feel like it's just for my conscience. Like I'm going to say my piece. So in case anyone has any question, like I advocated for what I think is the right thing to do. If somebody else chooses to do something else with that, that's their problem. It's not mine. It's not what I'm controlling, or it's not what I'm in control of. And so I felt like I had a moral obligation to stand up and say what I think, and I will do that on X. I'll do that on my podcast and other people's shows. But I'm just trying to get to a place of peace right now, because it has been very upsetting, and so I'm just trying to like process that, make sure I don't go too far off the rails on X, not get too far down the rabbit hole, be a good husband and father and all those things, and not to neglect any of that or get myself too like spun up about it. And so it's been a balancing act. I think X is still positive thing in my life. I use it mostly to promote the people that I love, like people that I think are doing a great job online. I try to, magnify their content. I try to put out good conversations on my channel and promote that stuff without getting into a lot of the fighting and the nonsense. Everyone does it once in a while, but I try to at least stay, even if it's criticism of somebody, like, as you know, I think Tim Burchett is a complete piece of shit, and I call him out all the time, repeatedly for the same thing. It's like, I'm not going to let that go. I don't get upset about it. I'm not emotional. I'll just like, every time I see him post something, I'll be like, oh, I'm not letting you, nope, you protected the pedophiles. I'm going to say the thing and, I'm like, move on. I think I'm trying to find the happy medium where you can just be honest, not hold people accountable, say the thing that needs to be said, and then just not get emotionally invested in it. Just let it go. Just zen out and be like, I said my thing. It went off into the ether. Probably doesn't mean anything, but at least I'm on the record. And that's kind of the way I'm approaching X right now. I think I'm in a pretty good relationship with it. I don't get, you see so much people like chronically on X like 24/7.
Oh yeah.
That's not healthy for you at all. I think the algorithm is such that it just tries to get people to fight with each other and cause a bunch of drama. And like, I don't like drama. I hate it. Especially in libertarian circles, it's so easy to get sucked into pockets of that stuff. I'm like, bro, I don't want any part of anyone's, like forget it.
Yeah, that's the thing about drama. Go, Andrew.
Just there shit post and post anime pictures.
He's barely on. See, that's how much he uses X. That's good. That's good.
He's to be chronically on Facebook. I'm not on there anymore.
Andrews, don't lie. You're on there on the reels, scrolling through.
Right.
Which, I mean, that's fun. I mean, what I really like though is use YouTube, right? Like when you're online, use YouTube. Like my cousin actually will say, like, he says, like, he's pretty much taught himself how to be, I mean, he had my uncle as well, but he's pretty much taught himself how to be more hands-on in the construction game, right? And he's a construction worker. And the first thing he'll tell you is like, YouTube University. Like, where'd you learn all this? YouTube University. It's like, that's what you need to apply the internet for. That's what you need to be on social media doing, is like learning, teaching, like discerning. It can be philosophy, it can be mathematics. I mean, you teach yourself to code, I guess. I mean, and go devise your YouTube. Yeah, go teach yourself how to flip homes. Maybe you can do that. Go teach yourself how to actually build something and how to maintain what you build. So like, that's what we need to do. And I think that's where people are just going off the rails, is nobody's using anything. They're just kind of like, I'm just on here, blow steam. I hate my life, so I'm going to go yell at the void.
There's so much of that, man. It's just like an emotional outburst towards the void, right? That's what I see that happening. And I think you're right. It's sad because there's so much possibility. Like, if you spent any time on YouTube trying to learn anything, it's like because I'm in the tech, right? And I brought people into the tech world. I brought people, like one of the guys who works for me is a musician, like professional, like front man of like a very famous band, right? Like, and had no tech experience at all. And it's like, here you go. Here's a cloud computing tutorial. And oh, by the way, it's over a week straight if you play it start to finish of material. Rather, you can take the whole course with all the sample exercises, knock yourself out. Or like MIT has got their computer science curriculum that they charge a fortune for. It's just online. Like, you can just go do these things, and like, and everyone's like, we're gonna argue about, I don't know, some stupid nonsense. It's just it's sad that I'm like all this potential that we're wasting, potential for good, to make yourself better, your life better, to make more money, to make better connections, to improve your skill. Like, no, I'm gonna argue with idiots online. Like, ugh.
Yeah, one of my favorite YouTube, it's I forget the channel's name, but there's a bunch of them though. I just I'm just thinking of this one, but there's a whole bunch of like building your own cabins in the woods, and like I'm like very intrigued and curious on that. So like I'll spend sometimes I'll just if I'm just home doing nothing, I'll just literally spend like 8 hours just watching nonstop, like binging, learning how to build a little cabin in the woods or a utility shed or whatnot. It's like it's fascinating because like have a lot of these guys, they'll actually go like slow mo, step by step, and teach you what you need to do. Like what do you need to measure this out? What are you using? What tools? Like step by step. Where do you start, etc., etc. And I think that's just fascinating because that's what you need to learn. You need to learn how to build. I mean, because I mean, the world's coming up to where you may not be able to rely on somebody to come at your house, or you may not be able to rely on going to the grocery store. I mean, we just had a big old snowstorm a week ago, and you walk into the store and just to go get like 2 things, and all the toilet paper's gone. Literally.
People forget how fragile supply chains are, man. We went through COVID. It was like 5 days, and all of a sudden everything's gone, and people are fighting in the aisles. And it's like, well, what do you think if the shit really hit the fan? What would that look like? It's like maybe you should prepare yourself for that eventuality because it's likely to happen, man.
Like I walked in.
Hold on. I got a rant now. So
especially go ahead.
Fucking libertarians, man. You guys, like, if there's so many libertarians that all they do is talk shit, and they talk about stuff that's clear, like monetary policy and the debt. And they're like, there's a debt time bomb. It's going to collapse the economy, or the currency is going to be worthless. We're going to have a crisis. And I'm like, okay, so what are you doing about it? I'm complaining about it online. It's like, guys,
right?
Like, fucking do something, man. Like, this is real stuff. I think people don't believe it. Like they learn a thing. They're online, like now libertarianism is my ideology. And I've read Mises, and I've read Rothbard, and I've watched, Bob Murphy's podcast, and they just regurgitate stuff and then not actually thinking about like what they're saying. It's like, well, if you really believe that, you'd be out there doing something besides talking,
exactly.
Man. And I'm not seeing that in that community, man. It's just nothing but fighting and arguing about the NAP and what's a violation or not. And it's like, go build something, dude. Protect your family. This is coming around the corner quicker than you can probably imagine. And when it does, you're going to be hurt. And if you haven't prepared, like, holy shit, it's going to come so fast. It's going to catch you unaware. And it's like, you're going to be done. You'll be through dealing.
And if it doesn't, let's say nothing comes around the corner and everything's kosher, at least you prepared, and you're prepared. But it's always like preparation. Like, don't freak out like doomsday prepper type bullshit. Like, that's going a little extreme. And I hate to say it, but most of them are probably not going to survive in an actual shit event situation. But
I'm just saying, like, think about this. Like, what if you just lived on less? What if you just got a lifestyle that was like, okay, so I bought, it's like 5 acres or something. I got a little plot of land here. It's a little bit out of the, it's not suburbia. It's a little out a ways in case shit hits the fan. It's just, it's humble. And I put like a cabin or maybe 2 or, whatever. Have a garden, have some chickens, be self-sustaining. And it's just like, I don't have to earn $500,000 a year. Like, I can just, relax a little bit. Like we talked, like Greg was talking about, like connecting with nature and just being grounded in the world, and like having a bonfire and hugging your family and just looking up at the sky sometimes, because you're not stressed about your next mortgage payment. You're not stressed because you're over leveraged, or like Andrew said, racked up your credit cards. Like, maybe consider
I was talking about a federal level. I mean, inflation. That's what I was talking.
Well, it all works from a federal level or an individual level. Like, it's a bad idea to run up your credit cards.
My bad.
We got a little conflict here. No, seriously though, that's
you're not
a problem.
You're not a prep. Hold on, Ed. You're not a prepper, William. You're a preparer. Go on, Andrew.
That's the problem, right? Is that it's the direction of your cash flow. If you're always using credit and you're not having anything in savings, you're always going to be behind, and you're not going to be able to move forward and get ahead. And the system is designed to stop you from getting ahead. They want you to be dependent.
Yep.
They want to be. They want easy management.
Yeah, always have a goal, even if it's even if the goal is as small as like maybe it's time to get out of suburbia, and while the market is where it is, I don't know, sell it to some flipper. You're still gonna make some money. They're gonna flip it, and then go use that money and go buy yourself like a couple acres out in the middle of nowhere. That way you have some peace of mind. So
there's
go ahead.
opportunity coming, man. Everyone who's the sound of my voice, there's opportunity coming. We know that Trump is appointing a new Federal Reserve chair who's going to slam interest rates down to zero. It's going to be easy money. It's probably going to be the overdose that kills us all. But in
Probably.
that
God, I
moment,
can only hope.
in the beginning, when that cash flows into the economy and you go back to the easy money policy, like, interest rates are going to go down, the value on paper of your house is going to go up. You have an opportunity to sell your shit, take your equity, and just with cash, just buy yourself a small place, man. Like, be debt free, live lean, just relax, man. Like, I think that's a better approach. Some people could certainly consider, other than what most people do, which is like, oh, interest rates drop, now I can take the equity of my home and I can buy a more expensive house. Like, that's the inclination that people have, trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to impress people you don't even care, probably can't stand in the first place. Like, if just get out of that trap, get off the treadmill, get out of off the rat wheel or hamster wheel, whatever they call it, and just return to tradition.
Exactly. You hit it right there. Get off the treadmill and go take a hike.
There you go.
That's
weird,
enjoy
right?
20
nature.
degrees outside this last week. How am I supposed to go out there and walk in 20-degree weather for 2 or 3 hours straight?
Bundle up.
Easy, man. Yeah, just go out and do it. Do David Goggins shit. Just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. But it's weird. Like, we're paying like $100 a month to go buy the privilege of going indoors under a bunch of blue light and stand on a machine that you can just for free just walk out your door and have fresh air and sunlight. It's like we're weird creatures, man.
That's where I was going to the gym for a little bit, but like now it's like I got a couple of dumbbells here, and then if I want to work on my legs, I'll go take a hike. Like, go actually let nature be your friction.
Right. That's good for you too, man. Like, all the studies show, like, all of that stuff is incredibly good for your health. Just don't do it.
Exactly. I mean, and as far as like preparing for the next bubble that's going to happen, I mean, that is going to be easy money. I'm with you on that one, Brent. Like, basically, sell your house, make the money, and then you'll have the money to literally go buy a shit ton of land if you really wanted to. Because I mean, they're gonna put so much money circulated into the economy. There's the potential that the supply or that the value ends up balancing out. And then we should be able to go and take advantage of it until it ends up crashing out. So take advantage of it until you can't anymore. Because if you just keep on moseying along, I mean, that's the silver lining of this show right here. Don't fuck the Joneses. Really, just fuck the Joneses.
There's no getting ahead. There's only getting out. Stefan Molyneux.
There you go. Good. Boy, I miss old Stefan. I don't know what happened to the new version of him, but I'm like, man, I miss the old version. Good stuff.
He got.
Well, he
got back on.
He's wired. He's wired 66% of the way Donald Trump is. That's why he fell in line with him. They're on the same page.
That was so weird. Well, that's when I left. I was like, when you start the first time when he was simping for Trump, it was like, oh boy, I was like, I can't follow you there, buddy. And then I'm glad that he at least admitted that he was wrong trying to get back into politics. But I still see his views have changed. Like, he's kind of abandoned philosophy in a lot of ways. And I'm just like, whoa, man. Like, I wish him well. Like, I love Steph and I owe him a lot, a huge debt of gratitude. Learned a ton from him. I don't want to be talking shit about him, especially if he's not in the room to defend himself. But I miss the older Steph. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. What was that quote there, Andrew, from The Dark Knight? You
either live long enough to, I don't. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to become a villain.
Exactly, and that's actually kind of what we're seeing with. That's what we're seeing with MAGA, and that, I mean, and what what they were promoting, and now they're the exact opposite. That's what we've seen with Stefan Molyneux. God bless him. I mean, that's just life, in my opinion. So it's ebbs and flows, and I can see Molyneux coming back down to earth. I can see it.
Is what it is. It's fine. I don't want to be shit talking him because, like, I just sincerely owe him a huge debt of gratitude. Learned a ton about philosophy.
I think we all do.
It's
yeah.
Well, that's wild. Like this new group of people. He's been off so long. Like people I mentioned Stefan, and they're like, who? I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So yeah, he's been forgotten in some circles. So yeah, just definitely want to. I really feel bad shit talking a little bit, but I am disappointed. But is what it is. I'm just some asshole on the internet with opinions. So is what it is.
Yeah, it's healthy to let those opinions out. And he'd probably, I mean, the old Steph would actually, he'd love it. So,
not an argument.
Yeah.
But
the good old days.
Well, here's one final 3 questions from William before we close out there, Brent. How do you label yourself? Are you an anarchist? How much is government necessary?
Yes.
Or how much government is necessary?
I hate labels, and I think anarchist has been just terminally polluted. Like it's so much baggage around it. I do consider myself an anarchist, meaning nobody else has a right to rule over anybody else. Full stop. So voluntarist, that's fine. If you look at my podcast art, I've got an anarchy symbol on the hat and everything. Like I don't shy away from it, but it makes me a little itchy every time somebody tries to like, are you an anarchist? I'm like, well, yeah, I just believe consent matters. It's like I'm anti-rape, and I also believe consent matters in other interactions between human beings. I'm really kind of sketched out that people find that an edgy term or position to take. I think consent absolutely matters. So that makes me whatever it makes me.
Does.
How much government is necessary? Whatever negative 10 million is, like if you could just eliminate it from the world, like I'm cool with that. I think we've seen what government is. All it is, it's violence, it's force, it's just sort of interventions in markets and changing the way people would otherwise behave, and it's enriching people unfairly. I think J.R.R. Tolkien, I'm not sure if anyone knows this, but the One Ring of Power actually is a metaphor for government. That's why no man can wear the ring. That's why a hobbit has to carry it to Mordor. And the moral of the story is you have to throw the fucking thing into the fire and destroy it. But throughout the whole series, there's all these people that think that they can wield the ring for good. Oh, if our team gets it, we can change the world for good. We just need to leverage that power. It's like, nope. The lesson is 0. You have to destroy it. Full stop. So that's my TLDR on government.
Isn't that great about Tolkien? Actually, like that analogy fits, and then another analogy fits on the fact that you have to destroy that ring because nobody can wield it unless you are truly aligned with good. Which, in essence, me being the Catholic that I am, I'm all for ordered liberty in the facet of having some type of authority on earth, so long as it aligns with the only sovereign of authority in the divine God. And I don't think you're going to find that in this day and age, especially where the trek that we've gone. We've gotten too big, we've gotten too secular, and the pattern of religiosity, because when it gets too big, you do see a pattern where then you get state secular power molded in, and so then you end up having an issue there, and authority becomes more than being aligned with love. And that's what we need. If we're going to have authority, anything, it needs to be localized. It needs to be rooted in community and family, and it needs to be Catholic social teaching, which to William, and he'll love this, is basically agorism. So,
well, hey man, I do disagree with some of that, but I'm not going to dive into it now. I really hope we can come back together and actually talk about God in depth, because we didn't really get to that today. And it's a super interesting subject for me. I'm searching, I'm open, I'm all the things. So I hope we can dive into that, but I kind of get a stop. I need to tap out. And so we'll put a pin in that for next time. I'm excited about it though.
That'd be good.
Let's do it. So Brent, tell everybody again where to find you and what your podcast is all about.
Yeah, it's at Aiming Up Podcast. It's just at Aiming Up Podcast on YouTube. I got Spotify, and on X, it's at B Gets Better. It shows up right there on the screen right there. I also run a clothing company called Anarcho Syndicate Clothing Company, Anarcho S, like Sam, Charlie, SEC, and anarchosyndicate.com. Got really cool gear, and it's not even like if you're not into anarchism or whatever, that's not what it's meant to be. It's meant to be with the Anarcho Syndicate means to be like everybody big tent. Like if you're about liberty at all, I'm like, cool, that's what we're about. But it's also geared in such a way that it's like the designs they stand alone, right? So it's not necessarily political. It's not like I got a Killdozer shirt or like, it's not like that. No shade against that, people like Free and those folks. That's cool. Like that's a whole other niche. This is not that, right? So I've got a Black Guns Matter solutionary merch. I did a collab with Maj Charest. That's really awesome. 100% of the proceeds go to Maj's Solutionary Center in BGM. But it's kind of like, looks kind of like biker skater type of, designs, like biker cut t-shirts and like skulls with like the fucking melting tongues coming out and stuff. Like we got a lot of cool stuff that could stand by itself. It's meant to be like a fashion brand, but also like it's, in that anarcho space. So that's just the TLDR of it. I love working on it. I got some pretty cool stuff. If you like it, go check it out. If not, that's cool too.
And you got it linked on your X as well too. So
I do. Yes, right. My profile on X.
Yep.
Same with the podcast. So you can link out the podcast from there too.
Yep. And then we'll have the description to his website and everything down in our description as well, everybody. But Brent, we gotta let you go because you need to go. And I think that's a wrap. So like life is life. So we gotta get out of here, everybody. So thank you
for
again,
having
Brent.
me. Honor, really pleasure. I really loved the conversation. It's so good.
Definitely. We'll definitely do it again. So, but everybody have a great night and like, share, and subscribe.
Peace.
And
Bitcoin, baby.
Hey, yeah, this is Bitcoin. I'm back. The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this Bitcoin, baby. I'm back in this bitch. Flossing fast cars and rolling with my clique. The king of the rap shit, the real OG. Whack ass rappers got nothing on me. Bought another Lambo, 3 hoes inside it. 10 hoes in line, ready to ride it. It's Bitcoin, bitch. Keep the track bumping. Really on the plug. I got pies in the oven. 80 years old, and your baby mama fond of me. All she wanna do is smoke my broccoli. Private jets from Rome to Ibiza. Lisa, Jenny, Julie, and Maria. Every day I gotta give thanks. I got bitcoins in the bank. Bitcoin, baby. I'm back in this bitch.
Bitcoin, baby. Oh.
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Bitcoin, baby.
The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this bitch. Axe your grandmother. Verse 2, coming with the gin and the juice. Call me a dragon. Spit flame in the boot. I'm hot, like a thermos full of coffee. So hot, can't get the hose off me. It's true. I got the weed card and shit. I'm smoking like a motherfucking chimney, kid. Bitches love me. My shit's never whack. Tell these motherfuckers Bitcoin's back.
Bitcoin, baby.
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Hot like hot coffee. Oh.
Axe your grandmother.
Surprise, motherfucker.
The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this bitch.
Get your hands in the air. Put your hands on the car. Put your 2 hands on the rock. Put your 2 hands on the road.
Bitcoin, baby.